Hello and welcome to the Paranormal Sideshow. I'm your host, John Edwards, and joined as always by my lovely wife, Stacey.
Hello.
And we're looking at strange stuff all over the place, as always. I mean, but this week has seemed particularly weird. I mean, it's like I'm seeing things out there that bother me in one, instance, and then in the other world, it's like, is that really a thing? Let me enlighten you here.
Okay.
So I watch all these videos every day. It's like work 15,000 hours. And when you've got a little bit of sanity, a little bit of alone time, I like to watch certain little, paranormal things or science things or whatever. And a lot of stuff on the sun and stuff on the atmosphere and then weird phenomenon, all these good things just to keep myself sharp, right? Mm-hmm. Or something. And this past week, I've been seeing a whole lot. Obviously, Canada has some incredible wildfires going and that smoke is coming down into the States. Mm-hmm. When that happens, you get a lot of pictures of weird looking sun, right? Because you're looking through smoke. So it's like, oh, the sun looked weird tonight. I don't know. I don't know what could be caused. It looks all red. It's the carbon, buddy. It's the smoke. That's what does it. But this time it's been like, when they show the sun and there's like I believe that planet X was hiding behind the sun. And it peeked out and said, hello.
Right.
I'm Planet X, and I'm here just to show you, Julio. Only you. You're the one. You're my champion. Champion Julio of Planet X. Welcome. Yeah, they think they're like some kind of,
I don't know. I have seen those pictures. It seems like a lot of people are seeing that.
Yeah, but what it is it looks like a lens flare, but there's so many of them.
Right.
And it also doesn't look like a lens flare.
It doesn't because I think it's too solid to look like a lens flare.
It's weird. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, imagine the sun, looking a little bit red, more red or orange than normal. Mm-hmm. And beside it, almost connected to it, there's another little smaller 1/4 of the size of it probably.
Right,
maybe half.
Like it has like a conjoined twin or something.
Right. Yeah, wouldn't that be some stuff? Find out now. But yeah, man, it's just weird. It's been out there quite a bit, so I don't know. I'm not gonna go sun gazing for too long.
No, but I guess we're just speculating it's some sort of atmospheric phenomenon or something.
There's been a lot of that, right? There's been a lot of weird stuff in the atmosphere. There's been a lot of things happening, a lot of weirdness, and people are embracing the weird as well. Mm-hmm. It's like we talked about on our first episode back from the break. We take a few months off and what happens? Everybody starts believing in everything.
All of a sudden, yeah.
I'm going to have to start a skeptic podcast next just to be different. It's weird. It's like when that indie band I like blows up and everybody knows everything about them. And I've been listening to them for 10 years.
Don't you hate that?
Oh, God.
And everybody's like, oh, I've been a fan for so long. Yeah. You're like, no, not as long as me.
No, you haven't. And that happens with everything. Mm-hmm. I've always followed them because the internet. See, back in my day,
right?
People couldn't do that. You could just call people. They didn't have a phone in their hand, right? That would just. They didn't have a Google, and
right.
So if you were a big fan of a band and someone showed up, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I've been a fan for years." Really? So I guess you remember the first album then. Oh yeah, you mean no, not that. That's
the first one.
That's the first commercial album. I'm talking about the first demo. You got that? The first indie release?
Right.
The remix of the indie release?
And you would know all that too.
Oh, yeah, man.
You're that kind of person.
If I love it,
right,
then I have to eat it up. I gobble it up. I gobble up stuff I love.
Speaking of weird videos, I caught John watching the Army training video for Morse code. There's a watch.
All right. They already think I'm weird enough.
It was so interesting.
Yes, you watched it twice, right?
I know. It was so good. I had to show it to Ari.
Yeah. So it's more than we deserve.
Right.
This video, oh my God, I'm not even prepared for this. This video is from the 50s, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
And It may be the 60s, honestly. I don't remember. It's from the 50s or 60s, pre-John and Stacey.
It's black and white.
So it's teaching you Morse code, teaching you proper ways to do it, but they're trying to be all... And the military's still like this, right? They're cringy. When they're trying to recruit you, it's not just, hey, come join, be a Marine. And it does work because, when I was a kid, they had the guy fighting the dragon and stuff,
Oh, right.
And
yeah.
I wanted to go join that day.
Yeah, you're right.
It's
You've
just
been
like,
sorely disappointed
yeah,
when they didn't produce the dragons.
I mean, that was like, all right, I'm down. You keep those things hidden in Iraq, don't you? That's all they would have to tell me.
Right.
We believe it's in that cave. And it's dressed as a Muslim man with a beard.
They can do that.
They can do that. Dragons are tricky. But, this video, it's going through the finer points of Morse code, which I did learn a lot, actually.
I did. I actually remember things, and I can tell the difference between the letters and stuff now. I couldn't do that before.
Yeah, I started deciphering words and whatnot.
It's very effective.
So through the video, there's this lady, and she seems like a drunk girl at a bar. And she's dressed really nice, though, but she's playing with her piano and a gun through most of the video. And the men are Morse code asking her stuff. Basically, asking her to go. They're supposed to be asking her to go get something to eat or something like that. I don't know what they're saying. I didn't go back and try to see.
Right.
But this one guy's pretty annoying with it, and he's not really good at his coding. He's not a good Morser.
He doesn't have a good fist.
No, he's not doing his good Morsing. And she keeps getting more aggravated with him. And the more he does it, she's getting aggravated with him. Now, again, this is an Army recruitment video. This is a
training video.
Yeah, training video for doing Morse code. All of a sudden, she gets tired of him completely. And she shoots him. Kills him.
Off screen.
You
just see the smoke waft. You hear it, and you see the smoke wafting through.
Basically like seeing the feathers from the bird when you hear the gun.
And the narrator just doesn't even put it over.
Yeah.
He just stands there.
They just keep going. And it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen because it's so unexpected. Mm-hmm. So yeah, very, very crazy. And you know what else is crazy? Corbin, Kentucky is crazy.
Oh.
So we live in Kentucky, and we've enjoyed our time in Kentucky. We've enjoyed going to the horse races. We've enjoyed, that was it, really. But, after all the years of making fun of always in Kentucky, because we would always hear, we saw the meteor go across New York, Maine, all these places and be Northeast and Kentucky, I know what I saw. But there was a wrestling show a little bit over a week ago now. And it was a house show. House show means non-televised for AEW, which I love to go to those with Raja, and we just have a good time with that. It's our thing. And we went down to this one, and it was bad from the start. There was omens left, omens right.
Talk about watching for the signs.
My God. Just everything just everything. I won't even get into all the stuff. I'm going to get right to the freaking problem. The problem wasn't the show. The production of the show. It was the people. And I could have probably guessed this one, but, I was down there and there was a lot of excited fans. And especially excited children's. Because it starts off with this kid, this little 6-year-old kid, little boy, and a mom that wasn't watching him well enough, and a dad that was terrified of me because I sound a certain way, and Raja was getting to our seat, and somebody was sitting on our seat to start with, and we're shuffling across there. The show is getting ready to actually begin, and I'm afraid Raja can't hear me, so I just said, Raja, just trying to get her attention. And undoubtedly, my 6'2" and scowl.
You have a lot of bass in your voice when you do that.
Apparently was fighting words to a lot of people in Kentucky. And I got a lot of fear looks. It was really fun, actually. But I was mortified, to be honest with you, because everybody looked at me like I was going to hit them. And so we sit down and we're enjoying the show. And Raja breaks it to me that, as sweet as she could, it doesn't bother me, and I know that you don't mean anything by it, but you sound a certain way. I think it might come across, that way to people. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. And so as I'm sitting there, this kid is beside me, and he's to my left, and I feel this kid leaning on me, and I'm thinking, well, that's sweet. It's like Kyler or something, you know. He doesn't know any better. He's just leaning there. The mom will stop him here in a second. Well, she doesn't. She doesn't. And it keeps going, and I feel the kid, like, you know, caress my leg. So I move my leg, right? So then the kid's head is literally in my ribs, just leaning up against me. Got his head leaned up against me watching the matches. The kid needed a dad. I mean, the dad was there.
That's what I thought. The dad was there.
But the dad was just not having it, man. I mean, I don't know if they were trying to give me this kid. I don't know if they had it planned, had him trained.
Right. They were going to slip out when you weren't looking.
Yeah. Just call him daddy. We'll run. He'll have to take you or face jail time. You know, I don't know.
Wow.
So finally, and I was like telling Raja, you know, especially after the hollering for her thing went terribly wrong. I was like, oh, it's no big deal. I can take this. He's just a kid. You want me to switch places with? No. Are you sure? I'm positive, because she was sitting next to like a 700-pound person, and who was sitting in her seat completely without trying to. So I was like, no, I'm fine. At least it's a kid. And so it keeps going, and finally I had all I could take. And because the big person got up and left, and you know, I don't know why, but
I can't imagine.
got up and walked away. So we had an extra seat. So I was like, okay, scoot down. I'm going to scoot down, and this will solve the problem. We can enjoy the rest of the show. But when I did that, all of a sudden, I feel that little bastard on me again. He actually scooted down to lean on me. And I was like, you have to be effing kidding me. And I looked right at the dad, and the dad's like, well, it's time to go, kids. And this little soggy bottom boy looking father
Right.
with this big woman, you know the type, right?
Right.
They somehow always find one another in small towns. They're like, come on, children's, and they all leave. And I'm like, all right, well, I don't feel as bad about that as I probably should. So I'm just going to enjoy the rest of the show with this Cadillac Kramer Lane of a freaking, 10 seats here I have.
Right.
So I'm leaning back, going to enjoy the rest of the show. And that's when it started. I wish I could make this up. I can't make this up. This is too good. In the ring is a wrestler that I really enjoy watching. His name's Claudio Castagnoli, formerly known as Cesaro in the WWE. And he likes to do a European uppercut. But I don't think he likes to do it as much as this son of a bitch behind me, right in my ear, likes him to do it. Because in walks kid number 2. And kid number 2 has obviously never been whipped, grounded, or even put down whatsoever. This kid's right behind me. He's standing up, and he is literally between Raja and I. And he's right in my ear. And he has a pitch to his voice that is unobtainable after a certain age. The boys haven't dropped. You've got this level of annoyance that's just there. That moment that makes even a good parent hear it and go, I'd beat the shit out of that kid. So he's right in my ear, and I hear, uppercut! 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 Well, the first 20 times, it didn't really bother me that bad. I'm just like, no, I can take this. I feel the small hairs on the back of my neck going up.
Right.
I can feel that feeling inside of me that knows that, well, I've done well hiding the reptilian, but I believe that the flaky skin is coming off, and people soon are going to know that I live in caves underneath humanity. That's the only thing I can liken it to, because as I'm sitting there, I'm getting shaky. And I started thinking, how hard would it be to fight every person in here? Because I really want to right now. And I look over at Raja, and I'm just expecting her to be her normal sweet self. Think of the mom on The Conjuring. You know that voice?
Right.
It's okay, kids. Let's play the clap game over here. Oh, my. Oh, mercy me. It's so good in here.
You know, because that's usually what I get with her.
Right.
I look over, and she's giving me that knowing look of, it's okay to kill that kid.
She fully supported you in that moment. I mean, I guess she was getting it too, wasn't she?
She was annoyed. Very annoyed. So in the ring, obviously, the wrestler, because we're second row, the wrestler could hear it.
Right.
He gives an uppercut 10 minutes later. And when he does, I yell, "Praise Jesus!" There is an uppercut. It popped the people in front of me.
Right. Well, I'm sure they could hear it too.
The guy on the very end looks down our way, just smiling, gives me the nod. Like that nod that I've heard it too the whole time, but I'm afraid to tell people in a movie anything. You know?
Right, right.
So the kid wasn't shook whatsoever. The kid wasn't shook. The kid, I think, thinks that I was really happy that he did the damn uppercut.
He felt some solidarity there from you.
So it goes from that, and I swear to God, I thought we were in the good, and then I hear something like shoulder tackle. Like
He just picked another move.
oh my God, it was something completely. I don't even remember what it is, but it was something else. And he starts hollering, and then another kid, and I'm like, that's it. Look, you know, I'm just done. I'm done. I'm done. And we actually left early for the first time ever.
I was wondering what was going on because normally you'll send like updates and pictures and stuff. And this time I hadn't heard anything. So finally I texted Raja or you, one of the two, and I was like, how's the show going? And one of you was like, we're on our way home. I was like, oh.
we had a total time away from the house, even though we were an hour and a half away. Mm-hmm. And we had a total time, put that 3 hours trip in there, and we were only gone for 5 hours.
Yeah.
Meaning that the trip back was pretty quick.
It was, I'm sure.
I think I made it in like 48 minutes. We didn't talk. We didn't listen to music.
You just enjoyed your silence.
We didn't stop. All I wanted was my room.
Right.
That's all I wanted was my room and my fat cat. That's all I wanted.
Oh, Lord.
Corbin, Kentucky, you can kiss my ass.
We won't even drive through Corbin. We'll just drive around the long way if we have to go through there.
Yeah, I put a lot of thought to it. Mm-hmm. I've seen AEW live 22 times. And 21 of them were pretty okay, including the 2 times I got COVID.
There you go.
Charlotte and Lexington gave me the big C. But, you know.
Fun times.
Fun freaking times. So something cool.
Okay.
There was an article back in like 2011, and I remembered seeing it a few different times. And it was like, you know, we polled NASA scientists to what was the most realistic sci-fi movies, you know, available.
Right.
And I never really took time to read it, but with all the craziness of the last couple of years, with all the UFOs and UAPs and the, you know, all this stuff happening and people really believing it. And it's like the latest New York Times poll says 99.9% of people believe that aliens are here. You know, like it just keeps going up, right?
Right.
I believe it's like 51%, but still yet. I went back and found that article, and it was very surprising, actually, because the number one movie, well, let me just tell you what they had on the list here.
Okay. And these are just sci-fi movies that are the most realistic, like they could really happen?
That's what the whole point was. And I believe the first part of it was in Smithsonian, you know, so so the NASA scientists were asked to pick their, you know, the best and the worst.
Oh, okay.
And I thought it was kind of funny, you know, and yes, could it happen and how close to real is it and all that good stuff. And you got to remember this is 2011. There's been movies since then that I'm sure they would have added to it.
Right, right.
But I'll just start with number 6 on the bad.
Okay.
Number 6 was The Sixth Day from 2000 with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it says Arnold Schwarzenegger is cloned. don't have to really go any further than that. Number
Nope.
5 was Chain Reaction from 96 with your boy Keanu Reeves. Mm-hmm. Bubble Fusion, a government plot to prevent the spread of the technology, the perfect recipe for bad.
Bubble Fusion?
Bubble Fusion.
That's a terrible name.
That's my Keanu. It's Bubble Fusion. Surf's up. Number 4, Volcano. From 97. Mm-hmm. There's a big crop of movies you love. Los Angeles is destroyed by a volcano that springs up in the city. Bad science mingling with cheesy dialogue and effects.
Yes.
Number 3 on the bad list, Stacey.
Yes.
Armageddon.
Well, obviously.
From 1998. We know what that one's about.
Yes, I mean, obviously that's going to be on the not realistic thing. They sent miners up to drill into an asteroid.
Number 2, The Core. From 2003. Mm-hmm. The Earth's core has stopped rotating, and scientists have to drill into it to start it back up.
Jumpstart the Earth.
The movie makers go nuts with basic geology, ending up with something the New York Times called monumentally dumb. You know what's funny about that is since this, the core stopped, and well, not stopped, but they
changed direction.
Changed directions.
Right. 2012
is number 1.
Ah, okay.
A movie that I couldn't even watch when it came out. If that tells you anything. Neutrinos from a solar flare heat up the Earth's core, setting off the end of life as we know it. The plot conveniently ignores the fact that neutrinos pass straight through matter, even us, without doing much of anything.
Exactly.
So then we get to the best.
Okay, this is what I'm interested in here.
Yes. So number 5 is Woman in the Moon from 1929.
Oh.
Number 4 is The Day the Earth Stood Still from 1951.
That's a good
Got
one.
my own conspiracies about that movie.
Right.
Number 3 is Metropolis from 1927. I think that thing's only like 25 minutes. Number 2 is Contact from 1997. If you stay awake through it, you'll know how alien visitation will happen.
Right, right.
And number 1 was Gattaca from 1997. Gattaca. You guys seen that? You guys remember that? Because not a lot of people probably do.
Mm-mm.
It was a dystopian science fiction thriller written and directed by some dude. And it starred Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman with the beautiful Jude Law.
Yes.
Oh, did I say that?
I think I said that.
Stacey wrote this.
Yeah.
Jude Law really is.
Man, he's so good looking.
Yeah,
oh my God.
He's a tasty morsel.
He doesn't deserve to be that pretty. He's pretty in that movie.
No.
Okay, anyway, continue.
So it's just cool. It's got, eugenics and whatnot is basically the whole thing. And yes, that can happen because you get to pick your perfect baby and
oh yeah, and you can't get anywhere until they test your blood.
Yeah.
I mean, how scary is that?
yeah, how close to the mark is it? Are
Exactly.
they hitting it?
Exactly.
So Stacey and I didn't remember seeing that movie. Mm-hmm. So we went and watched it and loved it. Actually,
yeah, it was very
really good. So if you haven't seen Gattaca,
mm-hmm.
you and some NASA scientists from 2011 who have probably all been killed by now would all love it. So then I was like, well, let me see what some other stuff would be. And I found a weird article.
Okay.
This is from 2 years ago, but still, yeah, it's crazy. The Council on Foreign Relations. Yep. They actually do something. They pick movies. So the Council on Foreign Relations on their website mm-hmm. put up 5 movies worth watching about UFOs.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Yes. It was the first thing they did in their little series about foreign relation movies.
I mean, that is foreign relations, I guess,
yeah,
UFOs.
Yeah. And the ones they picked, were fairly interesting considering.
So they're not saying that they're supposedly realistic. They're just saying you need to see them, which implies that they are somewhat
Well, yeah.
real.
I mean, I'll start with The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Okay.
And, that's where you have the alien named Klaatu,
Mm-hmm. not
to be confused with Klaatu Verada Niktu, or Nick, starring Michael Rennie from that song from Rocky Horror fame.
Yes.
He lands behind the White House, and he's carrying a message from Interplanetary Organization. Humans cannot be trusted with nuclear weapons. Well, they had that one right on the nose.
That's right.
And Earth must submit to the organization's supervision or face obliteration. Seems like an easy decision, right? Mm-hmm. Guess what we picked?
Of course, we probably shot at them or something.
Yeah. So when the U.S. government rejects Klaatu's demand to address world leaders, he escapes into Washington to learn about humans. It was based on Harry Bates' 1940 short story, Farewell to the Master, and directed by Robert Wise. It's a great movie. It really is a
That
great
whole
movie.
aliens not liking the nuclear thing, that really hits close to home.
But the aliens were, cool in this one. They were, I don't know, more human-like, and it was cool. But then War of the Worlds is on here, 1953. And of course, this is based on the 1898 novel by H.G. Wells. And also, everybody always wants to point out that Orson Welles scared the bejesus out of everybody and filled their underwear in 1938 by adapting it on the radio, and everybody thought it was real.
Now, is that the one where they come down, but then they get sick?
Yeah, they catch a cold.
They catch a cold because they weren't adapted to it. Okay, that's what I thought.
And then Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Yeah, the mashed potato movie from 1977. Again, very realistic and very close to the, very close to home on for a lot of people in ufology.
Yes.
Or upology.
UAP.
Upology.
Upology.
And 1996 Independence Day is on here, which I think is great. I can probably not ever get tired of that movie too much. Like I have got tired of it before.
Right, but
when they play it all day.
If you haven't seen it for, a year, it's not bad.
And District 9 from 2009. This one is one of those cool, a spaceship arrives in Johannesburg in 1982, and basically they're in camps and all this. It's a good movie. You guys should see that if you haven't seen it. And Phenomenon from 2020. If you want to brush up on the history of UFO sightings, yes, they put James Fox's documentary in here.
That's awesome.
So I will stop on that and say, go see all of James Fox's the documentaries. Everything that James Fox has done has been super entertaining. And the second they come out, what do I do?
Oh, we absolutely watch them as soon as they come out.
It's like, we got to buy it now.
Yep.
Now it's out. Because he put so much passion into it.
Well, and he makes them interesting. Like, it's not just the same, like, droning through a story. He presents it in a really interesting and educational way. And I don't know, and he always has new information. Like, there's always something that I didn't know that he put in there. So
yeah, no, I love the way he does it. And he's a gem. He is absolutely a gem in the hologram. So I got to thinking, just because I think sometimes. And I was like, I wonder on a horror movie into things. Right. Because horror movies, as much as we may love them, and we went to the movies to see the new Evil Dead movie, which was awesome and scary.
It was.
It was actually scary. We went to go see Pope's Exorcist, which was not as awesome. And that's coming from a guy who loves exorcism movies.
Right.
I love anything with a good Catholic and a freaking
and a few demons.
Yeah, a few demons. That's my kind of movie. You want me to enjoy the night? Give me that.
Do you know why I like exorcism movies so much? Because they scare me for real.
Right.
Like, you can watch a horror movie or a slasher movie and, somewhere in your mind, that that's not real. But for some reason, when you watch a movie about somebody being possessed,
I wonder why.
The possibility that could really happen, it scares me to death.
Yeah. Well, the top 10 top grossing, because that's not what horror movies are known for. So
right.
And I would say if you adjusted these for inflation, it'd be even crazier. But the top 10 top grossing horror movies of all time, something we've never really touched on. We've touched on favorites.
Right, and cursed movies and things like that, but we've never really talked about the most popular ones.
So number 10 on the highest grossing list is The Omen from 1976.
Wow, it is a good movie.
Everything's scarier in the 70s. For any longtime listeners, you know how we feel about that. We love the way everything's shot.
Yes.
And just the movies are just so good. We watched Kelly's Heroes.
Oh, I had never seen it. It was so good.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
It just gave me a new appreciation for Donald Sutherland.
And Don Rickles.
Yes, and Don Rickles.
So obviously, most of you have seen The Omen. If you haven't, then shame. We all know your name, and you need to go out of your way to see it because it's just one of those that everybody should see. Number 9 is one of my favorites, What Lies Beneath.
Oh, that's such a good movie.
From the year 2000 with good old Harrison Ford. And man, that movie has great twist. And it's just an awesome movie. I love everything about that movie.
That's one that we actually rewatch, and we don't do that a lot.
And it's more of a suspense movie in my book. But number 8 is Alien from 1979, which is an all-time classic.
It is.
Number 7 is the Amityville Horror from 1979.
Good movie.
They should never have made any more of them.
No.
They were good with the first. Number 6 is Jaws 2.
Jaws 2, really?
Yep, the sequel to the 1975 Steven Spielberg classic. Doesn't have Spielberg, but it does have Martin Brody, which is Roy Scheider, and another shark terrorizing Amity Island yet again, because that would happen.
Right.
I can't believe
Someone would come for revenge.
And listen, this is not the most popular. This is highest grossing. Just remember that.
I know.
Number 5, It.
Oh.
The 2017 movie, which was...
The remake?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Scary Pennywise.
Number 4 is Gremlins, which should not be on a horror list, but from 1984.
I think it is classified as horror, though.
Dang. It's not horror. It's freaking comedy.
It is.
Number 3, The Sixth Sense.
Oh, such a good movie.
And again, I would put that as suspense, personally. But I love that movie. I mean, who doesn't love that movie? You can pretend you don't love that movie, but you're lying.
You could be like, I knew it all along, but you didn't know.
Number 2 makes me a little bit sad because it should be number 1. The Exorcist.
Oh.
1973. The movie that scarred my entire life. The movie that I snuck and watched as a youngster and regretted it. Couldn't get any of the imagery out of my head. And then weirdly got aroused by Linda Blair. For all these years where I would still probably take an old Linda Blair right now and make her put the dress on.
Oh, gross.
With the vomit.
Right. I knew it was coming. That's why I was like, ew.
I'd be like, I want to play the priest. Except Linda. I'm going to give in to it. I want you to say all those lines. Except I'm going to do it, Linda. How'd you make the demon stop talking? What? What did she say?
Oh, wow.
I don't know about my mom, but you're... No.
Anyway, what's number 1?
Number 1. The original Jaws.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes.
That makes sense.
So Jaws 1 is 1 in horror movies. And, in cheesy movies as well. But that's the top 10 grossing horror movies of all time. And you know what's sad?
What's that?
Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th or Halloween.
Right. Well, those are...
The best.
They are really good, but they are for a specific audience. I mean, you have to really like that slasher type movie to want to go see it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Freaking preteen, like, demon girl is not for a specific audience.
Do you know which horror movie I really enjoyed? I knew it was going to be on that list because I don't think a lot of people saw it, but it was the one that we watched with Kevin Bacon. Remember? And the girl hypnotizes him, and I can't remember the name of it right second. And then when he comes out of the hypnosis, he like starts hearing things and stuff like that. It was really scary.
Yeah, it was good.
It was a really good movie. And for some reason, I can't think of the name of it right this second.
I think if there's others on, the others should be on every.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it should be on every list. It's a fantastic movie.
If we were doing a list of most realistic paranormal movies, I bet that would be on there.
I would put Drag Me to Hell on my list. Again, that's just favorites though. And then I would have Hammer Horror in there.
Of course.
It's just, that's not, it's hard to do a favorite list like that. It's like favorite bands for me. I just love the genre so much that it's hard to really pick. Paranormal movies are hard for me because of living a ghost life for so many years.
Right.
It's just difficult because they have to kind of hit the mark.
They do. It can't be too cheesy.
I hate when they go in and it's like, a solid apparition, like.
Right.
Just, I don't know. It's, unless they're doing it in a cheesy, fun Scooby-Doo way, then I'm okay with it. But, oh well. So guess what I finally did?
What's that?
I bought the blue check mark.
On Twitter?
I had to. Like, I wasn't going to buy the blue check mark.
Right.
But I decided to do it because they made a mistake and I get to do longer tweets now.
Oh, uh-oh.
Oh my God. Yeah. And you get like pushed to the top and stuff. So
I see.
just for the longer tweets alone and my Johnisms,
Right.
you know, I'm going to definitely do that.
We have such an interesting following on the Twitter because it's like paranormal, but it's wrestling too.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of everything.
Got a little bit of all of it.
I tried separating everybody, you know, all my different personalities and stuff, but yeah, I'm sticking with @Sideshow97. So if you guys don't follow us already, get on there and follow us because you're gonna get longer tweets. I'm gonna take full advantage.
You're gonna use every character.
Absolutely. I might even, you know, talk about lightning and stuff. You never know. Oh boy, do we have a story for you guys in the next book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're working on that. I even read Stacey and one of my little mini chapters from the book. And it's going to have some stories throughout life that are just classic, I guess you could put it. Like probably other people don't have this experience. That's what I'm trying to include in there is things where whether it's the thought process or whether it's something like, I don't know, just let's say jokingly, like calling down lightning on command.
Right.
You know, things that
hypothetically.
Yeah, hypothetically. Things that probably don't happen for everyone. And, you know, it's a lot of fun and a lot more of the more personal parts of the paranormal journey.
Right.
You know, the last one we kind of skimmed on everything and, you know, we put the meat and potatoes in there and stuff, but there was a big chapters that we kept in a box.
Right. A lot of things that happened that we didn't feel like writing right at the moment.
Yeah.
Didn't fit into what we were doing.
Yeah, we were like, somebody might judge us for that. And now we just don't care. So it's a good thing. That day you wake up and you don't look when you back up. Yeah, I'm there. Everybody else has to get out of my damn way. But speaking out of getting in my damn way, I need some paranormal news.
Okay. Let's do some paranormal news.
Let's do it, baby.
Well, since you were talking about like UFO movies and sci-fi movies, let's just start with some UFO stories.
Okay.
All right.
I'm always
so
good at that.
the other day, did you hear about the UFO that was flying towards the volcano in Mexico? The Popo, how do you say that? Popocatépetl, I think is how you say it.
That's how you say it.
It's the really famous one where they have the camera on it all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
And there's always activity there. You constantly are seeing articles about seeing UFOs here and there and zipping around, and they're really amazing.
They are.
So over the last week, there's been activity at the volcano. They've even, I think even the United States government, the embassies have put out like a notice to anybody working there that they can't go within 12 kilometers of the volcano. Like that's the warning right now because it's spewing ash up. They've had to close the airport. I mean, it's pretty active right now. But there's this video that was caught on that camera showing what looks like a UFO flying straight down towards, not straight down, but kind of at an angle, but down towards where the volcano is right before it erupts. And then it just sort of disappears in where you see the lava spewing up. So now a lot of people are like, oh, it's probably just a plane and it's behind the volcano. But I don't know. It's so suspicious.
Well, I mean, we've seen so many UFOs go in there.
I know.
They basically slow down and wave now.
Oh, yeah. And they like circle and they go.
I mean, there's been such great UFOs captured recently. It's weird.
I think the conspiracy with that place is maybe there's a base there or they use the volcano for something.
Well, it's kind of like all the stuff we've seen behind clouds. You know, the people have gotten smart to it now and are catching so many UFOs in lightning storms. And, you know, volcanoes, I mean, it makes all the sense in the world. I mean, why couldn't they, if they could survive trips through space, they could survive going through lava, I'm sure.
And they did have that one photographer catch the UFO at the coronation.
Yes.
So that was pretty cool. It was like he was photographing the jets flying and he didn't even know he caught it until he went back and looked at his pictures, and it was like just this little blip kind of up above where all those planes were flying. So it was really weird.
Did you see the video of the obviously like a priest that was late to get to the choir or something?
Oh, and he looked like a black
Grim Reaper.
Yeah, robed.
Yeah.
Like, boy, just gonna coronate the king, and here comes
It never fails.
Yeah.
There's always something like that, you know?
It was weird. I thought, because my first thought when I saw it was, that's just somebody that's part of the ceremony. But you know how newspapers are. They blow everything up. Oh, what is this walking through this apparition in the back of the thing?
It's probably some, you know, Father McCroskey that just, you know, got a knob job.
That's why he was late.
Yeah.
Well, since, you know, the coronation.
Well, not his wife, but his mistress is sitting there like, what was his name?
Since the coronation, there has been articles again also about Prince Philip, you know, all of his UFO files.
Yeah.
They call them the Royal X-Files because he investigated UFOs for like 70 years or something like that. Like he was really interested.
He was interested in a few things.
In all this research. And so there are all these files and books and things that he has. And back, I think, the first time we heard about this was right after the Queen passed last year. And they were like, oh, now that she's passed, perhaps all of these things will be released. So now that's come back up because ultimately it would be King Charles's decision. Yeah. If any of that was going to be released. Yeah, I don't think any of it is. And I don't know if he has anything.
Well, he's probably worried, like if you release one file, they could get all of them. And I would dare say there's things in there that may be even more crazy than the UFO files.
Right. Oh,
I think we'll keep all of these under lock and key for now, Jeeves.
Oh, so let's talk about a story from New Jersey.
Uh-oh.
So did you hear the story about the rock that crashed through the house?
No.
In New Jersey. So there's this...
If you smell...
Not that kind of rock. Dwayne Johnson just fell through my ceiling. It's amazing. So there's a New Jersey family that found a mysterious black rock, and it damaged their ceiling. Like made a hole in their ceiling, damaged the floor, and then made a second hole in the ceiling from where it bounced off the floor and back up into the ceiling. And thank goodness nobody was in the room when it happened. And it was really warm when they found it. And they were like, we have no idea where this came from or what this is. And so they had some people come and test it. And scientists have confirmed that it is absolutely a meteorite that crashed through the roof and went into their room. And they're just amazed that it didn't burn their house down like some people say happens when their houses
that guy in California
get hit by a meteorite. It just burns it to the ground.
That guy was classic, though. That guy was great. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty nuts.
It is. It's from Hopewell Township, New Jersey. It was the College of New Jersey physics professor. His name's Nate McGee. He's the one that confirmed it. Now, I'm not sure what happens to it now. I mean, do they get to keep it since it crashed
if they
into
had to open their damn mouth
house?
I mean, listen, I would just pay for my own roof repair.
Right. And just
I'm not telling you if I find one until I get all the superpowers from it. So
it does say that the family told the news agency that they plan to keep the rare space rock in a safe and undisclosed location. It's under the bed.
Yeah.
It's in the closet.
Absolutely. I think before I turned it in, I would like wipe some semen on it or something. Just something so when they're like looking into it, they're like, oh my God. We found human DNA.
On this. You don't think they'd be able to tell?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Someone needs to keep a really close eye on that family because you don't know what's on that meteorite.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have space herpes.
Yeah, it could have space herpes. Especially after I get done with it.
All right. So let's talk about another strange discovery from... Not quite in space this time. This one's from the stratosphere.
Oh, really? From the stratosphere?
Yes.
It's pretty... Okay. What's happening in the stratosphere, Stacey?
Well, hold on. I'm going to tell you as soon as the story comes up.
You know probably better than anybody.
So, some mysterious ultra-low frequency noises have been detected in Earth's atmosphere, and the scientists are baffled.
Of course they are.
They can't explain.
The only reason they know is the dog started biting them for no reason. Covering his ear.
So some scientists were sending up some solar-powered balloons that detected strange rumblings at a height of 70,000 feet above the Earth's surface. And this is in the stratosphere. And normally they send them up there to detect noises that they know they are, like thunder, ocean waves, rocket launches. They detect all of those noises normally when they're doing their testing.
Thunderbirds.
Right. But there are some mysterious infrared signals that occur a few times per hour, just on some of the flights. And the source of them is completely unknown. They have no idea what's making these particular noises. Now, this is studies that they've been doing. I mean, they've been sending balloons into the stratosphere since the 1890s. So it's weird for them to all of a sudden
Maybe it's the old balloons
come up with something.
with slow leaks.
Maybe.
Not sure what it is, sir. It's so odd.
So I don't know, just low recurring rumbles, and the signals could not be traced.
Yeah,
Which
no.
is very, very strange.
It is very strange.
Yes.
It's, I mean, with all the sky quaking that's been happening recently, you know, and weird sounds just in general. I mean, there's been a lot of them. It's been happening again. So
There have. And I mean,
interesting.
I feel like this is one thing that could contribute to that.
And all the damn UFO sightings. Again, it's really crazy right now how good of evidence people are finding. And, you know, so going in and out, I mean, you never know what it can sound like.
Yes. So they're going to, I guess, continue to investigate
Yes,
the
they
sounds. It's bird farts. No, I guess birds don't fly that high, do they?
will. Not for long.
So that's probably not what it
Yeah,
is.
No, it's there would be a sound. But
Well, speaking of mysterious sounds, Denmark has had some mysterious tremors.
oh,
And at first, they were trying to say, oh, they were seismograph, you know, like earthquakes and
Right.
things like that. And then when they realized, like the Geological Survey said that none of these were caused by earthquakes, they were trying to say, well, maybe it was from explosions in Poland. Like they had all these theories, but it turns out that they were caused by pressure waves from an event in the atmosphere. Here's another atmospheric thing. Have no idea where these are coming from. They're just saying it's an unknown source.
that was so tremendous. It caused earthquakes, or it registered on the seismograph.
Right. And it made people feel like it shook houses. And
Yeah.
I mean, their first thought went to earthquake, but for some reason it was some kind of pressure waves from some event in the atmosphere that they have no idea what it is.
Well, that's not scary at all.
Obviously, it's not something that's happened before. They would have been
Yeah.
like, oh, this happened back in blah, blah, blah. No,
Right.
This is a new thing.
No, that's nuts.
And I don't
It's
know.
nuts to actually be so significant that it shook houses.
I think it says the seismic tremors were measured at a 2.3.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's not nothing.
Well, I mean, for there not to be a reason, yeah, that's
Right.
something. It's crazy.
They described them as deep rumbling, shaking, and rattling, changing pressure in the ear,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. So, I don't know. It's so very strange that, especially
Something's
to
behind
have.
it.
Do what?
Something's behind it. It's like
Oh,
the
yeah.
sky quakes. It's like the mysterious booms. It's, I mean, there's something behind all of this. Maybe it'll all be connected and we'll know soon. But that's a weird one. It really is.
It is. And,
Not to have any origin.
right. And then on top of this other story where they supposedly just caught these new sounds in the stratosphere,
Yeah.
the timing on it's a little
Little wonky.
wonky.
Yeah.
A little strange. So,
No, that's really strange, especially not to have any damn idea.
that's true. That's true.
That's scary.
All right, let's move on to our next story about a weird scientific discovery about elephants.
Well, that's always good.
So there's a new study out that claims that elephants may be domesticating themselves, which is very unusual.
They
for
getting
animals.
married and
Well, no, it says that they recognize the bones of deceased elephants
well, yeah, we knew that.
and that they appear to mourn their dead
We knew that.
and that they also recognize themselves in mirrors.
Where are they getting mirrors?
I guess
Like the cocaine addicted elephants?
at the zoo, maybe when they see themselves in the water, their reflection in the water.
I
I
possibly.
mean, I don't know. But
They all look
supposedly
alike to me.
that's a sign. That's elephant racism.
Is it?
I think so.
Well, if they get mad about it, then I'll get real worried.
Supposedly that's a sign that they're self-aware, and those traits may have evolved because elephants have domesticated themselves. Now, the only animals that have done this are humans. You know, we went from our Neanderthal selves. We became less aggressive.
Right. They say.
And they say. And the only other animals, bonobo monkeys.
Oh, bonobos, huh?
Bonobos.
You mean like the love making monkeys?
Yeah. I actually really like the way that they talk about it in this article because when they go through the list of the animals that have done it, it says the close cousins of the chimpanzees, bonobos, are far less aggressive, have softer and rounder facial features, and a much celebrated love of sex.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they said it.
Yeah.
They say they use it not just for mating, but also for making friends and soothing social conflicts.
Yeah, enemies, big fights.
We're not to that level of domestication yet.
No. Bonobos are, you talk about a case study. If you're ever bored, just watch like an hour documentary on bonobos. It's my favorite monkey, just from the love, man. I mean, they could be fighting or whatever, and then it's like, I mean,
they play the music.
Oh, it's like a little monkey paw on the hip, one monkey foot on the tree. You know, just kind of give that thrust thing, like straight up 1975.
Right.
It's good.
Now, it is a little bit controversial. Some scientists don't think that's the case, but because elephants don't have a lot of predators, and there's an abundance of food, then the more aggressive males that
Elephants don't have a lot of predators.
like people that...
Yeah, I mean, there's some lions sitting over there going, damn, I wish I could eat that thing.
It's just so big.
Why don't you go for it, George? Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you, Ricky? You would really like that.
It's lion truth or dare.
Then you would have them all to yourself, huh?
Supposedly, when there's an abundance of food, the more aggressive animals get weeded out of the population because that's not needed anymore because they have food. There's not anybody hunting them. So then that's how the domestication works, I guess.
They should meet their cousins to have the ivory taken from them. Those guys must be pretty stupid because I'd say they're pretty angry.
Well, I don't know. I think it's very interesting. Elephants are highly intelligent.
Yeah, it creeps me out when we see them go back on the exact date that somebody died.
Right.
And how do they even know that?
And have like elephant funerals and stuff.
I mean,
it's
how
weird.
do they even know that? And it's just, they're amazing creatures. And I love elephants. I always have, but they're just so interesting to watch, and they are so much like humans.
They are. All right, since we're on discoveries, let's move on to this next story. And this is about an ancient tablet that was found on Mount Ebal. And it predates...
Mount what?
Ebal, I think it's Ebal.
Sounds like you're saying it backwards.
It predates known Hebrew inscriptions. Now, this is something that they found a while back, like in the 80s, but they couldn't open it. It's a little lead tablet, and they couldn't open it because it's very delicate and fragile. So now with new technology, they were able to scan it.
Oh, I thought the same guy had been trying to open it since the 80s.
No. He's got lead poisoning now. He can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. They used some new scanning technology to see what was inside, and the data revealed that there was some words inside that said, "You are cursed by the god."
How would you like to be the son of a bitch that finally's like, I think that we can do it. What's that, Johnson?
I think I can read this. I did this book that we've been trying to read for 30 years. I think I can do it.
Well, then do it.
All right, I'll put it here in the prostroninator and turn it on and doop, 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 doop. I got it. Oh God.
I mean, you're the one that reads the curse.
It's one of those things that you're only cursed if you read it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's interesting how they found this, because what they did was back in 2019, they did an expedition to the mountain to sift through some discarded material that was from excavations led by a man named Adam Zertal. Now, he was a controversial archaeologist because of the way that he did his archaeology. And these were in mounds, not nude. These were in mounds of dirt that he dug out of something else. And they were sifting through it to see if there was anything in it. And that's how they found the lead tablets. So I don't know. It's very interesting. I don't know why there's a cursed tablet up on this mountain. This particular...
Maybe God's like, you shouldn't be using that.
This particular...
If you do use it, don't lick your fingers when you turn the page.
The controversial archaeologist, I think he believed he found very specific altars that are mentioned in the Bible. Some people didn't believe that's what he found, but that's what he said. And they think that that's what this comes from, that it's like a cursed area, like
And
the
what's it
area
say-
that people put curses on.
What's it say exactly again?
The quote in this article is, "You are cursed by the god."
By the God?
The god.
I think that's a different God.
You think so?
Yeah, it's the one
Probably
that
it's
says
not
the
just
God.
Yeah.
It's like at God parties, they're like, oh God. What is it, God? Oh, it's, it's him. Goddamn? No, he rarely comes around. It's that one, Oh, the God. That's right. I can hear you. I am a God, Oh, I'm the God, the guy. I'm here.
They'll love it. Fun at naughty parties. All right. Anyway. So let's move on and let's talk about some thieves that spent an entire month digging a tunnel to try and steal oil from an oil pipeline.
Well, what's the place to steal it?
Yes. So it was a gang of 8 that was recently apprehended when they were 30 centimeters away from
Oh, no.
reaching this oil pipeline. Now, this is from South Korea. And what happened was one of the gentlemen used to work for an oil company. And he tried to steal oil while he worked there. And I guess they caught him and fired him. So him and
What's that all over what's that all over your hands there, Song?
Coffee.
Black gold. Texas tea.
They rented an entire hotel that sat over top where the oil pipeline went.
Oh, God.
And they rented it for a month at about $3,400, something around there.
Yeah.
In their money, it's like 4.5 million won. I think it's called won or won. I don't know what their currency is called. And they started digging, and they used primitive tools, not like rocks and stuff, like shovels. They didn't use machinery. They didn't want anyone to hear them digging. So they spent a month digging with shovels and whatever they could find. And when they got nearly there, 30 centimeters away from where the oil pipeline was, they got raided. Someone, I guess, narked on them or figured out what they were doing. And they were all arrested, and they never did reach the oil pipeline.
Won't be making an Ocean's 11 version of that, will they? Not the most George Clooney of thieves. What were they going to do when they drilled into the damn pipeline and
they were
going to
try and sell it? They were going to try and sell the oil. I mean, the one guy worked for, I guess he probably knew the procedure and how to handle it.
Yeah.
So now they have to fill the hole back in. I can't believe they got so close and then got caught.
They probably caught him when they dug.
Probably.
If it was me, I would have waited until
right.
they got 30 centimeters away.
You're like, no, let's not rate them yet.
Yeah.
They're digging pretty slow with those shovels.
Yeah,
we can wait.
Let's just wait. We can use it as a cellar. It's fine. I want them to be sweaty. Let's make them work.
All right, so let's do this one last story about, this is from Springfield, Colorado. And this is from a post from the Springfield, Colorado Police Department on their Facebook page about a DUI arrest last week. So about 11:30 p.m., the Springfield police conducted a traffic stop on a vehicle traveling at 52 miles per hour in a 30 mile per hour zone.
Yeah, that's doable.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to pull you over. And when they got pulled over, the Springfield Police Department officer saw the guy in the driver's seat attempt to switch places with his passenger, who just happened to be a dog.
What?
And then when he got out of the passenger side, he said that he wasn't driving. He couldn't be arrested because he wasn't driving, but the only other person in the car was the dog. So he tried to make them think that, I guess, his dog was driving. I don't know. It was pretty funny.
Oh, what did the dog say about it?
I think the dog, it says he was given to an acquaintance of the driver to take care of why he was in jail, and he doesn't face any charges. He just got let go with a warning.
The egg is going to be on everybody's face soon. When we find out that there's been a big, string of bank robberies.
And it's the dog.
Oh, yeah. It is.
I think the guy had some outstanding warrants, too.
What's his name, Bandit?
So. Oh, no. No.
Did you catch him? Doggone. It's crazy.
It's amazing what you'll do when you're drunk and you get pulled over by the police.
I like that one. I mean, if the dog played along, especially.
I wonder if the cop hadn't actually seen him switching, if you'd
he would've went
been
with
so
it.
confident about
I
it.
would. If I would, the only, caveat to it, I'd been like, drive off. If he can drive off, I won't give you a ticket. Let's see what happens.
Oh, wow.
It'd be my luck.
Yeah, really, the dog would be like, woof.
Yeah.
Just drive away.
Well, that's
wow.
ridiculous.
Yes, I agree.
Absolutely ridiculous. All right. Well, thank you for those stories.
You're welcome.
I'm thinking the world is a little bit stranger than I even thought it was. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I love it. Can't wait for more of it. And especially on the ufology end of things, I'm predicting here in the next few months, we're going to have a hell of a good sighting.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. I think we're going to have...
This year. We're going to have a good one this year?
Yeah, I think we're going to have one of those sightings this year. At least a leak or a
video or something.
An actual sighting that's going to make people just go crazy. I really feel that way.
It would have to be pretty good by now because I feel like people are already, like you said.
I think that it needs to be. I think we're in distraction season. And
right.
It's that time. So until your next distraction with us, she's been Stacey, I've been John, and we've been The Sideshow. So long from The Sideshow.
Good night.